Shall we dance?
Let's.
Every fucking time.
Pre-start, hang on. All right, hello and welcome to another episode of AFL Afraid of the Mark. I'm dyslexic and I'm also Chad.
I'm Dan. When are you actually going to get good at this?
It's been fucking way too long.
Whenever my childhood trauma gets addressed,
I'm Finn.
I get flashes every time.
Right.
And these bright lights don't help. There's obviously something linked between my childhood and the
who was
lights.
pointing cameras at you as a kid, man?
Yeah.
And,
And what were they making you do?
Someone called Epstein something? What was his name? Jeff?
Jizzy Jeff.
Jizzy Jeff. Fresh haircut, Chad.
Yeah, we got to look good for the... Not that this is the start of the week because we don't say when we record, but yeah, you got to...
Monday.
Yeah, you got to start well. Yeah.
Did you sit down and ask for the dusty?
No, I'm 34 and I'm just happy I still have options.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, instead of just how do I put my hair forward so it looks like it's still the fringe is still there. Yeah.
I feel like you're going to have a healthy hairline for a long time.
I hope so.
It's well in.
One of our best mates, he's like, it's a lot of it's going, and it's like, well, you can't attend the Fringe Festival anymore because you're not meeting the prerequisites.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it, but it's good.
What's
It's
the
fair.
prerequisites for going to Fringe? Living in Fremantle? Is it?
That's probably got something to do with it. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Can't buy a ticket unless you're in these postcodes and you don't shower.
Yeah. You must fail the drug test. Yeah.
No shoes allowed. Excellent. Well, that's a solid intro.
Yeah.
I feel like we should script you. That's what we should do. We should buy an auto cue. We should invest
If
in
we
an auto cue.
script him,
He would sit here like Matthew Pavlich
And he-
and read every
and
line.
and still say it wrong.
Yeah.
Do you remember our old employer when he would say, I'm going to give you some structure with your sales technique? And he goes, let's do some role play. And I'm like, all right, do you want to be the hostess or the pilot?
There's a reason we don't work together anymore.
No, there isn't. He used to yell a lot. Yeah. He did choose the pilot. And I can't remember the next
I
few
forgot
ones.
to tell you that our first and only subscriber was actually him.
Was it? Oh, what a guy.
Hey, I saw our sponsor today.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did he have to say? Did you see him to speak to?
He was on the phone in the car.
Yeah, roger that.
Yeah.
Give him
Hopefully,
give him away.
hopefully hands free.
I got one of these.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they'll
Yeah,
buy it,
I'm
yeah.
too busy. Don't interrupt me. Yeah.
Yeah. Cold.
Yeah.
You're talking about Willow,
Yeah, I am.
obviously.
Yeah.
Willow
yeah.
Electrics.
Yep.
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 Thanks for that.
Saw him this morning.
You don't get many a mention, but
Yep.
we appreciate you nonetheless.
Pretty interesting round of football.
Fill me in. I feel like I watched the West Coast game and I watched half of the Freo
Oh,
game.
you mean the Bad Coast game?
Yeah, and I watched half of the Freo game, and that's about me.
The worst Coast game?
The worst.
Because they're not the
coast.
best Coast anymore.
Nah,
They're fucked.
fuck. Yeah, no good.
Port Adelaide fucked.
Mate, I'm pissed off with Port Adelaide. I
Carlton
was
fucked.
on track for I was on track for an 8 out of 8 in the tips, and Port fucked me losing to St Kilda, so I ended up with 7. Not that we're talking about tips just yet, but
Fuck Port.
that's where I'm at this
Fuck
week.
St Kilda for getting everyone's tips wrong.
Yeah, motherfucker.
I tip Saints, thank you.
Yeah,
you
we
did,
know.
Yeah.
There's a reason
Didn't you
why.
tip the same?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
If you were going to get me to tip between Port Adelaide and St Kilda,
I feel like you did, Finn.
if I did, well, nice.
I'm getting Fremantle 2013 vibes. They've not.
I tipped North Melbourne, who for some reason just completely regressed in the face of contest.
Yeah, that was.
I would be
interesting
able
as
to tell you, but it would appear that Chad didn't even post the tip.
well. Tips, clips, fucking.
You fucking donut. Did you do anything this week?
No.
No. Yes. No.
No.
Maybe.
He didn't. No.
I was getting to some content. I went to the Sam Newman event at the
And
Sporting
got
Globe at Rockingham.
What content
posted
did you
zero fucking content.
You couldn't
so
get your phones out.
So you,
So you
so
did.
you literally did fuck all.
No, I mean, I reported on it, you know.
to who?
Oh,
In rehearsal in your bathroom mirror.
Yeah. It's like,
My mum.
what a very cultured old man he was. Yeah. No, he was really good.
No, you did.
Some
tip
good old
Port.
stories.
Yeah.
I know I tipped Port
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure I made a rule like 3 years ago that I don't tip St Kilda. Like,
I cannot believe you didn't even post the tips. Like, I make them for
I usually
you.
do the tips
I
and the
edit the
clips, so maybe
video.
it was just, I don't know.
I feel like you've derailed our entire traction.
we've been
And
working on a social media campaign, and I know you feel like you're being cornered, yelled at right now.
Targeted.
Yeah, well, this is just a pre-season camp I wasn't told
Oppressed.
about.
Ooh, segue.
Oh.
For reals though,
Hmm.
post shit.
Yeah,
Next.
well, look,
Next.
my
Anyway,
OnlyFans account needs priority too.
Yeah, North took a massive regression. I think it has something to do with the fact that I talked about them in a positive way.
Potentially,
You
yeah.
put pressure on them now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to them. Yeah, pretty sad stuff.
Bit of a beat. The bottom of the ladder's looking a little bit,
Dire,
yeah,
like
like the bottom half of it looks a bit
like zero
fucking rough.
wins and then all the wins at the other end. It's actually really strange.
Yeah,
I saw who
3 teams on 0 wins from 4 games.
it was. Oh fuck, I don't even know which coach it was. Said, "Oh, it's a tight competition this year," and I snorted when I saw that.
Yeah,
Tight.
Is it? Fuck.
It's like 4 people who can win and the rest suck.
There's a
Yeah.
big gap between the contenders and the pretenders.
It's gotten,
I think.
it's gotten catastrophic, this gap.
What do you think that is?
Too many teams, talent pool,
concession
compromised
picks.
draft. The list goes on.
Yeah,
It's
fair.
starting to become blatantly obvious that it's a problem.
Mm.
And despite everyone except the AFL fucking noticing it, they've continued to do it. So, and on that record, West Coast better demand compensation picks this year, because if you fucking don't, and you've let every other person take a fucking joyride on it, and pride is out the window now because it's fucked you. It's gonna fuck every team every year because of years and years of fucking draft compromise, and the biggest one is coming again.
Yeah.
Get fucking put your hand out and beg for fucking 3 first rounders, fucking
Need to rebuild quickly.
assistance package. Cause
I don't reckon they'd get it.
They've
they'd
got to
have
get something.
they'll get a spoon again this year, and then they're worse than what North were when North got they've had a worse section than North were when North got theirs, and they got 3 first rounders to you.
Mm. Yeah,
So
that hand needs to be out well and
Yeah.
truly. They need to start begging now.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they should be doing it because it's a new coach and it's a whole structure change,
Yeah.
and it's
And if they're going to lose the people that they're potentially going to lose, they're double fucked.
100%, and it's in the AFL's best interest to keep that institution
Well, yeah,
ticking because they make a fuck ton of money.
a lot of money.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to talk about them because they're fucking
Shit house.
pissing me off at the moment.
Yeah,
so,
same.
Well, especially the leadership.
That's I can deal with like a rebuild, new coach, fucking, but you got to show up to play. You got to give it a crack. And it's just like
Well, I mean, the problem's from the top. I mean, like, look how they handled the whole Oscar Allen incident.
we're not talking about it.
No, I'm talking about loyalty. I'm not. It just happens to be
this is
that.
one of your things.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
You mentioned
he's
this.
ruined me segue.
Sorry, you should have specified it.
Like, is there?
Ooh, segue.
No, is there?
All right, go.
So, obviously, he got caught with his pants down with another coach, which at least
I reckon he got caught with that coach's pants down, mate.
well, we're visual now. They'll be able to see and hear that. Yeah.
Not if you don't post it, cunt.
It's interpretive dance.
Oh dear.
First of all, they must have some awareness of they're probably going to get seen in public if they're having a coffee or a massage or a whatever the fuck they do now.
They don't do rim jobs in public, mate.
Well, it depends what time of night it is, but I mean, one, it's a terrible look. 2, they couldn't have handled the press conference any worse. Like, he comes out like he's almost about to cry.
He looked like a kicked fucking puppy.
Like, you're the captain of the team.
Do you know
But
what
to be fair, he probably was a little bit of a kick puppy because he would have got fucking raked over the coals first thing Monday morning.
Oh,
Good.
I
fuck.
reckon Woosha would have taken him into an office and gone, mate, what the fuck
Woosha would have taken him in there and fucking. Notice how the camera's only sat here because
Yeah.
everything below that's covered in bruises.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He's had an absolute flogging, a 2 before to the rib.
I wish to regress to the 90s again.
Yeah.
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 And then the only good part of the press conference was Woosha when he was. I think one of the press conference asked him jokingly, "Oh, Chris Fagan said he wouldn't mind having a coffee with Oscar Allen." He's like, "What? He can come and have a coffee with me?" And I'm like, you saw that 90s look in his eye where I'm like, it was kind of hot, and I'm like,
Oh.
he should have just done the whole press conference. Woosha, like,
He's so tough. He's hard. He's a hard man.
if Allen had come out and said, "Look, I'm a free agent at the end of the year. I'll do what I need to do, but I'll still lead this club when I'm here. And he said it defiantly. You know what? I'd half accept that.
Yeah.
But,
People keep pissing and moaning about the Hawks jumper. Right? I suppose we couldn't cover this last week because we had already recorded. So
We had.
Yeah. We were wearing Hawks colours, and I thought, I reckon he was told to wear that just so it looks like it's, we see nothing in it. We don't care about fucking, I don't know, what do you call it? I don't know. Never mind, I'm Chad.
That's like a Freudian slip. Yeah. But it goes one of two ways. It's either the media person's a dickhead for letting him wear it, or it's like they're expecting most people to be smart enough to go, oh, that's ironic. You know,
Yeah.
It's like most people aren't that way.
I just
sadly.
thought, I was
No,
like,
they're not.
we just show, it makes it look like we really don't give two fucks. Like, the colour of a jumper means nothing to us. We're here to focus on football, but they didn't focus on any football at all.
No.
No,
No,
it's
they
the worst
didn't.
look of a captain since Wayne Carey back in 2000, mate. Like,
Yeah.
and he did get caught with his pants down, sadly. But you know, not that we judge on the podcast. Consensual sex is okay with us.
I saw this video. Just reminded me.
This
Fuck,
is going to be a
B-
loose episode.
BT is king. They were asking Wayne what it was like to be like at North Melbourne. Then he's like, "Oh, it was great. Prelims, premierships." BT goes relationships.
That's fucking savage.
On
Oh.
a fucking footy panel.
That's
and
savage.
every head snapped at him, and he's like, "I know what I fucking said."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cold, but it's not untrue, sadly. Yeah.
Oh, it was so well delivered. Never let that man retire.
No.
That was such a weird time.
It's
Then all
almost
of a-
like
yeah.
a respond a day.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking dare you.
And all of a sudden, Wayne Carey just rocks up at the Crows. It's like, okay, cool, here he is.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Wayne, Karen, everybody out there. That even goes well together.
does.
All right, keep going, mate. We're...
So yeah, obviously, so it was handled poorly. The whole thing was handled poorly. But let's talk about loyalty, like because then Chris Scott came out. I can't remember if it was after his post-game match against whatever the fuck, and he's like, "Oh, the only people who have a problem with it is people who played before the 2000s. Everyone else has just been like just accepted it."
Mm.
And I'm like, if you think the game's in a better state since the 2000s, you're high. But we won't know because of how shit the drug testing is, and. And it's like
God.
you cannot I understand they've got a short career and they've got money to be made. They still make a shitload than most people do in their 20s, whatever, like compared to every other industry in the world. So
Yep.
get over it. But there has to be some pride in the jumper left because it's like if I'm a fan, I want to invest in the players that are coming here. You can't just walk into a team that's always going to perform. You know, it's like almost like a modern day relationship where it's like instead of, you know, I want something that's already ready. I don't want to build it up.
Yeah, it's like you want to be the contributor that gets the team to the space where they can win the flag. Not just walk into a team that is one key forward away from,
Yeah.
4 goals a game.
Yeah,
doing
Brian
the flag.
Lake, he just walked in. It was like, 2 premierships. Like,
Do
Marlon Pickett.
you good at your navigating the AFL app?
I'm all right at it.
Pull up how many games Oscar Allen's played.
120.
would it be that much? I don't think it would because he had a year out for his ACL as well,
He's
didn't
at
he?
it. Just pull that up, right? And then this
60?
this should settle just about everything. Right? He's got his hand out to the club, right? Got his hand out. And wondering why they're not coming to the table.
Holy shit.
99?
97.
97. Well, fucking not a bad guess. He hasn't even played 100 games because he's spent that much time
On the injury list.
on the injury
Yeah.
list. Right?
Debut 2018 could have a possible, what's that?
Let's say average of 22 games a season. If
Yeah.
That's 7 years already. He's been in the
19,
system.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So could have played close to 150. Not even 100.
Not even 100, right?
Kicked 142 goals. So what's that? 1.5 a game.
Yeah, it's not even an average of 2 a game, right?
No.
Now when he's firing, he's his best season. He's fucking top 5 goal kickers, right? Like he's got the capacity to be a gun, and he's a great fucking. He's got enthusiasm, and when he's doesn't have one foot out the door, he is a fucking leader, right? That's why he's given captaincy.
Yeah.
But if you are wondering why the club's not giving you anything more, If I was at West Coast and he's like, I want long term, whatever, I would just fucking slide that stat in front of him and go, not happening.
Jake Waterman has played more games.
Like, how did he get to captain though? Like,
because when he was fit, he was like, you got to remember, he was an understudy to two key forwards who worked their ass up everywhere on the ground all the time. So you're going to do exactly what the two guys you're following are doing. And
you know what's crazy though? He's played like probably a season and a half in the ruck forward role or ruck defence, like swingman all over the place. Season and a half, maybe 2 full years. So of his 97 games, not actually played. Maybe 70% of them actually as a key forward.
Yeah, because he is an actual
crazy
super duper player. But
he's a swingman. He's put his keys in the ball and seen what other coaches put him in there with.
But if your body's not right, you're not going to get a fucking 7-year deal on fucking $800,000 a year.
No.
Right? And Hawks, I bet Sam Mitchell wouldn't be making that move either.
What they're saying is that the deal that is being offered by them is longer than what the West Coast have put on the table.
Yeah, but it's probably less money.
Probably.
But West Coast have made a lot of deal mistakes with long-term contracts that have fucked them a lot in the last 15 years that they're just not doing it anymore. And like, unless you're a player
smart business
who just does not get injured, it's not going on the table.
Which Oscar Allen is not.
Not at all. He is fucking pulling at the part at the seams.
Yeah.
So you're talking about loyalty, and I agree with you. Like, you fucking... If I got asked to go run out there with that on, I wouldn't come off the field until I'd died. Pushed every single fibre in my body to the point where my heart would fucking collapse because I'm so unfit. But I'd play like I was fit, because that's what that means, you know. Like, fucking, and he's not the only one in that football club who's got that problem.
No, but when
you're gonna fucking wear that captaincy and be expecting to walk out, you need to hand it over.
Yeah.
And if you take what that fucking means seriously, you'll sign whatever deal they put in front of you.
Well, West Coast should have stood him down as soon as that happened. It's
100%.
like that's what the press conference should have been. Sorry, you're out. We'll put it to Baker. He's the new captain, and he'll lead us forward.
Liam Duggan, solo captain.
But he's a fucking shit captain too.
Yeah, he's not
Duggan.
great.
He doesn't impact the game like Baker does.
Look at all the shittest teams in the comp. Their captains
step up and get it done
every single fucking time. Like, look at Jack Steele over the last 5 years.
Toby Green, yeah.
I mean, the Giants are a good side. I'm talking about fucking shit sides.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, St Kilda suck him. Jack Steele never has a bad game. Right, when Hawks were down the bottom, Sicily never had a bad game.
Talking to James Sicily, he actually came out and had the press conference that Oscar Allen probably should have had. Yeah. He stood there and he went, it's poor business to not have a look at what you're worth and test your values.
But
was just flat honest about the situation.
Yeah, we'll get an OnlyFans account if you want to test how much you're worth.
Yep.
Don't do that. It's about your parents won't forgive you.
What's next, Chad? What's next on your loyalty? Because we can't keep
ranting about Oscar. Yeah.
No, and it's not just about, but it's like it's all the play, like free agency. It's like if you get like getting drafted now is no longer a privilege. It's expected and it's a right to some of these players. Where it's like if you go high if you're a top 5 pick, you're going to go to a bottom 5 team naturally, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're a father-son rule.
Compromise.
Very compromised. Wait till Tasmania comes in. Who's the family pool? We don't know. Father-uncle rule. So I can't help myself. But it's like this is the system. This is the era where it's like, all right, I'm a top 5 pick. Huh? But it's like I'm a top 5 pick. So the ego is already there. Going, I know it, if you're a top 5 pick, you're guaranteed at least one big contract in your career, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, but I don't. They've got no patience now. I want to go to a club that's going to instantly compete continuously. And then it goes from that point to, if I don't get my own way in the first 3 years, I'm going to leave. And it's like, you've got a club that wants to invest in you. You've got supporters who want to invest in you. Like, the money's very similar, give or take. After a certain tax bracket, doesn't change anyway. It's like, have some respect.
Yeah.
Like, the club is invested. And especially if you're a top pick and you want to go to, I want to go to Collingwood or I want to go to a really high up team, then you're shafting both of them. And you reset the development every time you start that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and it's the same with like interstate clubs. It's like you leave the nest eventually. And with the way technology and travel is now, it's never been easy to go home. Like if you were in the 80s or the 90s, all right, you've got to pick up the telephone and kick mum off the internet.
Yeah.
No, sorry, mum would be on the phone. Whatever the way it was.
Yeah, we get you.
You know, and it's like, but it's also look at the other side where it's like, you know, if you're in the military or whatever, like how often do you think they get to go home and see the kids?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, when you nominate and you put yourself forward to be drafted into this game, you know that there are teams all over the country, and there is a very high chance that you're going to have to move.
And
you're going to have to deal with that.
Travel to play, so it's not like you're never going home.
No, exactly. Like, every 2 weeks, if you've come over here and you're from Melbourne, every 3 weeks probably you're back in Victoria.
And how many great players have retired with no premiership? Pavlich, Mundy, they're obviously two Dockers, but like, you know,
many.
Tex will retire without a premiership.
Patrick Cripps.
Yeah, Paddy Cripps.
And he's still playing.
Has he? He looked like he retired at the weekend.
Yeah, Nathan Buckley never got one.
That's the other side of the coin for your loyalty thing is Patrick Cripps.
Yeah. Put Carlton on his back for the last fucking
and
6 years, 7 years.
And he continues to do so, right? And he gets criticised now because he can't carry him anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why the fuck should he? Like,
exactly.
It blew my mind that he signed that extension when he did. Like, it should have been, he should be operating 12 months only, and then I'm gonna fuck off. I've had enough of this. Like,
yeah.
Which he clearly has already. But if someone like him went, I just want to go back to WA now, you can't say that that's
not disloyalty at that point.
Because
you've done 10 years or whatever,
and some again. And like for a team that sucked, he's won 2 Brownlows in that time. You know?
Yeah, and like as much as I detest Dangerfield because he did leave us at the start, like at least he gave us a lot.
Mate,
I can admit that
he gave Adelaide more than I thought he ever would.
Yeah,
and it's like, and not during his entire career, you never would have heard of Adelaide. You wouldn't have heard a peep from him saying, "Oh, I want to go back." It wasn't till someone came to him that we want Patrick at Geelong. The club would have gone to him then and said, "Look, you know," and he would have said, "Yeah, I'd like to go home, but whatever suits it." And I can guarantee you, Patrick Cripps Patrick Dangerfield's position would have been, if it's best for the club, no worries.
Yeah.
Like if the club's not going to get what they need, then like I would love to go home.
Yeah.
I would love to raise my family back home, but
on the extreme circumstances, like say if you've got a family member who's sick and you want to move back, like look, those reasons perfectly acceptable.
But like Horn Francis, I bet he fucking wishes he was at North right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
bet he wishes he was at North.
But it's like, if you can't handle the draft rules of I'm probably going to go into state to a degree. I mean, you look at it like the basketball system, like they're all over the state. You've got East Coast and West Coast. So you may not even get back to your side eventually.
That's right.
You know, like,
and like if you don't if you're concerned about being in a position where you can't get picked up by the club you want because they're better, it's your own fault for being good.
Yeah.
Being less good.
Be less good, get picked up later, yeah.
And that falls back to what we were talking about last week, is like, should there be rules about drafting from your own state to prop up that talent pool?
Yeah.
It's I don't think it would ever work.
The issues are multi-layered, but I mean the biggest thing is like there's loyalty, like especially for the fan base, because like you like seeing your young players grow and take and become men or great players, and like you want to go on that journey with them, and then as soon as they hit their prime, it's like, oh, they're gone now.
I see this is the exact same thing with apprentices, right? So I often see in these groups young kids posting anonymously, or I want to change employers. It's like, that's pathetic, because someone's taken a teenager on. You've cost them a bomb, because they cost you money, right? They cost you money until they're fucking just about when they're qualified. Right?
A lot of cards you got to throw on the ground and shit, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean they do though, because they constantly fuck everything up. They don't know how to work. They don't know. They've got to learn all these life skills in that fucking period. You know, like it's because someone fucking didn't treat you like you're fucking God's greatest gift on earth, so you want to change. Or the grass is not greener, and you're gonna have the fucking same problems everywhere you go. And it's like, show a little bit of loyalty and appreciation for the opportunity you've been given, and fucking stick at it.
Like, but has Australia been too privileged for too long, do we think?
Yeah.
We need another war to thin us out. Like, we'd have some, like, what's the appreciation back?
Chad, it's never going to happen because you're not going to fight for your government. So
No.
No, but I'll fight for you lads. I'll shoot some people for you guys. Yeah,
it's a different story though. Yeah. But the discussion constantly circles back to
war. Apparently,
no. I mean, young Reed, right? And it's just fucking. The beauty is they haven't been able to talk about him, right? But I'm still a firm believer that kid probably won't leave because he's got the grit to be exactly what you're saying, Chad. It's like
he's got character,
loyalty,
at least,
understanding, and drive to be different, right?
Mm.
And if you want to be different right now, it's not complaining about where you end up because everyone else seems to fucking do it.
Yeah. But sometimes it takes time to build shit.
Of course,
absolutely.
It doesn't mean you can't give everything to a guy, because you recognise the talent. Just because you can't win doesn't mean you stop.
Well, look at everyone who's relocated to Gold Coast, right?
Yeah.
Well, but look at everyone who's relocated to Adelaide. Why would you?
Well, Higgins doesn't like Adelaide, apparently.
Yeah, fucking the only smart thing that ever came out of Jack Higgins' mouth. Don't blame him. I don't like Adelaide either.
What did he say?
I don't like Adelaide.
Oh, okay, fair.
He's going to stay in and play COD instead of going out in Adelaide.
Because he doesn't like Adelaide. And I was like,
right on.
Man's actually a genius.
That's fair. That's fair.
Maybe his brain surgery put the wires the right
way
around.
Yeah. But Jesus.
Foggy naturally got upset by it.
Really?
Of course he.
Very Fogarty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's a South Aussie boy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to upset him with the size of his arms, but if you want to do that, that's up to you. Or Phil Thorpe.
Phil Thorpe.
He's every year he looks more and more like a caveman. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Monster, he's having a great year.
But just to finish off on the law, one thing I always loved about Pav, because he was a South Aussie prodigy, and he got drafted to Fremantle, and they were shit they're still shit after all these years later.
No, but
he never left.
Pulled them into not being shit.
Yeah. Oh, no, he led them for a long time, and he was a great captain.
Yeah. Pav annoys the shit out of me, but I'll never, ever credit where it is due. That man committed himself to that football club, and that's what everyone should be. Maybe they just make a rule. If you're a top 10 draft pick, you're never allowed to leave the club.
Well, same cool. But even Chris Judd, he gave West Coast great years, and then he left him. He sadly didn't leave him in a better state than when he got there, but that was obvious. But he still gave him a great amount.
Potentially left him in a good future state though, because they got a lot for him at the time.
What they got for Chris Judd was tantamount to their
the Colts was a bit iffy at the time, but it was
eventual premiership.
Yeah, no, they ended up fairly well compensated after the fact.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying about Pav too, there's Mundy, there's a whole heap of others that have put in the hours, put in the effort, and not reaped the reward. So.
Well, same with Matthew Richardson. There's so many players who never get there. It's not that nothing less there, because it's like it takes that much to go right, and it takes that much out of your own, as an individual players, out of your control. It's not on you at the end of the day.
No,
because a lot of time it's the club that has to put it together.
One man doth not make a team.
That's not what the Blues supporters think.
Yeah, true, very true. And on the fucking getting drafted interstate and all of that kind of thing too. These clubs now are so sensitive to that sort of stuff that they're happy for players to go back home mid fucking week or stay on an extra day or two when they fly into those states to be with family.
And how much more can you accommodate these people?
Literally no more. Aside from saying train remotely and meet us at the ground for game day, which obviously doesn't work.
Not at all.
Training a game plan or what have you. Yeah, this is fucking crazy. Getting crazy. Be loyal, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. I didn't. Sorry, have you got more to say on loyalty or done with that?
No, it's where the game's at, and it's becoming not disinteresting, but it's getting less and less. Why would you invest in one club? It's almost like a little bit like the NBA, where it's like wherever LeBron went from the Cavaliers to Miami Heat, and then what happens is people end up following players, not clubs, and that becomes an issue as well. So it's like I'll go where LeBron goes. And then you end up getting these
Yeah, but they've got those players have no power whatsoever, and that's what I love about it.
They just get told this is where you are now. Yeah,
sucked in and deal with it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot harder to end up that way when you look at an AFL list though, because there's 44 players versus what?
Oh, it's too expensive to offer that. Yeah,
whatever it is, 15 or something.
But I'm just saying the impact it has on it's not just the clubs, it's the viewers as well, because it's like I want someone who's going to stick around for a while.
Yeah, and you don't want to watch your team be shit, pick up a first rounder, and then almost get good for a couple of years, and then them
walk
fucking
back
leave,
out, yeah.
and then you shit again because you're not picking up enough talent along the way.
We're retaining it, like, and
Yeah.
at this point, like, they used to talk about clubs' retention was so, like, clubs are good at retaining players, and nowadays it doesn't matter if they are, because they've received too much power, and agents have been given too much freedom to do what they want.
Yeah.
Well, the players think they're Hollywood stars now with age. It's like, grow up. Like, because it's all about brand as well. Because everyone's like, whenever, obviously there's a lot of rumblings about Petrarca. He's checked out. He's worried about growing his brand. It's like, what are you talking about? You're an AFL football player. Like, get over yourself.
But he is actually a terrible influencer as well.
Terrible.
Yeah, his food's shit.
Is it?
Maybe players are more interested
How
in
do you know?
what they're doing on the outside now.
I've
It's like
seen his videos,
sponsorships,
his cooking videos.
Yeah, okay.
They're just like, I don't know. I watch a lot of cooking videos.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
thinks he's
okay.
not Margaret Thatcher. What was that lady, Betty Crocker or so, whoever she did to those cooking shows?
Yeah, right.
Was it Margaret Thatcher?
No.
Who is
Absolutely
that?
not.
Why does that name ring a
She was
bell?
the Prime Minister in the UK.
Oh, she's that horrible lady when invaded
The-
Argentina. That's right. Sorry, never mind.
The Iron Lady, mate.
Yeah. She did a lot wrong.
She did a lot wrong.
Yeah.
See, leadership and loyalty.
Even
is
George
important. Yeah.
Foreman was a better cook than Christian Petrarca. And all he did was slap things on hot steel and said, "This is how you cook.
Yeah.
Now buy my product."
I've never watched Christian Petrarca cook. But you're right, they are all worried about what their external influence. So it's a social media problem.
Fucking Nancy.
It's the generation we're in, though. Everyone's looking for something better all the time.
Yeah.
No matter what relationship it is, and everyone's going to think I'm coming from trauma and maybe a little bit, but
Because you are.
I know we talk about it on the other podcast. But no, it is. It's always like, oh, I'm not, I expect everything to be perfect all the time. And you know what? Life's not that fucking way.
No,
So grow
I
up.
wish it was. I wish it fucking was.
No, that'd be even worse. Life's
True.
supposed to be hard. Yeah, of course
true,
it is.
True.
How do you get character?
We're getting deep and philosophical here. This is supposed to be a football podcast.
This is really deep.
That's not
Sorry
what
to set
she
off. I
said,
just-
though.
yep.
Oh, there you go. Back to the gutter, boys. Good work.
Dick joke.
Excellent.
But yeah, no, that's my rant about loyalty. I think it's important, and it's tearing away the fabric of. I mean, like the AFL's a shadow of what it used to be, but it's becoming a bit silly.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. I think it's a really valid conversation point. Yeah. I didn't really witness much in the football world and didn't really have much to touch on or talk about, really. So we can carry on talking about loyalty for a bit.
I
if you want.
witnessed far less than you because I was fixing a race car while trying to watch at the same time.
Yeah, right. I was not fixing a race
That
car.
was hard.
Yeah. I wasn't doing
It was
that.
very hard. Didn't finish work until 8 o'clock last night.
Right.
Oh, Sunday.
All day, every day
In the heat.
in the shed.
It was pretty warm.
It was warm and hot and sweaty in that shed.
Very good.
Yep.
Do you know where else it was hot and sweaty? The preseason camp in 2018.
There it is.
There we go.
He's
Now we got
got
a
it.
segue. All right.
So for the umpteenth time, Chad wants to talk about the camp.
Yeah, I didn't really research it before it kind of came
Click
out of me.
that.
Yeah, but before it came out of me last week. So now keep in mind these are not
If it
not
was Brown, it would be what's going on right now, dribbling shit.
Yeah.
what's that word? This is allegedly. We're not saying this definitely happened. Now this is
No
off.
idea.
Now this is off wiki. This,
No idea, he's just on one.
so this is off wiki.
Fucking one eye.
No, this is the last time we're going to bring it up, but we're going to talk about it in depth, right? So
Oh god. I'm not ready for this.
no, but neither were they.
The last
Literally
time
watches
till
this.
next week.
Yeah.
All right. So last week it kind of came out of me. I didn't do any research or preparation. We were talking generally.
Yeah, that's not the first time you've mentioned it though, Chad. You haven't done research and preparation every time you've gone on about it.
No, but look, here we go. Now this is off Wikipedia. So again, this is
So you've still not done any research or
Did you
preparation?
cite any of the sources, mate?
Well, look, I'm just saying there's a reason Julian Assange is in jail at the moment, right? So some of it has to be true. He's the Eric Snowden of his time.
Isn't he free now?
Yeah, because he's
yeah.
old and he can't fucking remember anything anymore. He's no longer a flight
He was
risk.
in the Swedish embassy for a while, wasn't he? And then
Pretty sure he's home.
yeah, he's back here.
Yeah, well, as long as you're surrounded by loved one, that's nice. All right. So now, allegations, allegedly. So, where are we? All right. So players were divided into 3 groups based on their playing experience prior to the journey to the camp. So Group 1, consisting of the most senior players in Adelaide, who I won't name due to legal reasons, were the target of the most severe regime. And then Group 2, consisting of several experienced players, thought it was, though it was still described as weird. The third group, consisting of the more junior players, were subject to what was deemed to be a regular fitness camp. So they can't complain, they're fine, right? The young ones, they're all right. Not as...
Because they just want to go to another club because it was too hard.
Well, it's kind of the opposite of Diddy's flavour. It's the opposite of Diddy's flavour camp, where the young ones were the most severe.
I'm just going to derail this for a sec. This is what Sam went I've been waiting to do that for weeks, and I've never had one coming in.
It's all about the timing. It's all about the timing. See, then they go. The camp was. They reckon one of the what is it? The camp was like a trance, with the unnamed insider also claiming the players had difficult remembering what had occurred during the camp. So I'm getting P Diddy vibes a lot here, right? So the experience of Group 1,
baby oil.
So they roofied them,
possibly.
So
upon entering the bus that was to carry them from Broadbeach to the camp, Group 1 was alarmed to be greeted by men wearing combat uniforms and holding what appeared to be automatic firearms, but they would have been let into the MCG apparently, so times had changed. Everyone was fine with real guns. We've become so desensitized to war, haven't we? This is what Call of Duty, man. This is what it does. Anyway,
yeah.
So upon their arrival, they had their blindfolds removed and were greeted by roughly 25 camp workers. So now we've gone into this is sounding more like a porno. Who refused to reveal the location at which they were. Now, look, if it was only an hour away, you can vaguely guess which way you've gone, right? So it's not that much of an unknown.
There's only like 3 places with buildings in Adelaide, so it wouldn't be hard to guess at all.
Yeah, if you can't see a church, you're probably not in the city, right? And then we've got in exercise 1, which the players were told to find a partner and stare at their eyes, alternating which eye they were staring at. And then during the middle of this exercise, a player collapsed.
Staring at each other's brown eyes, I reckon.
So, like, I mean,
Michael Jackson.
Big brown eye.
I mean, so I don't know what that's supposed to achieve. Maybe, who knows? So despite the condition, the camp workers refused to call for medical attention, claiming that he was only suffering from dizziness. The player was only given medical assistance upon the demands of the players and club doctor, who was not at the camp and did not know where it was located. Luckily, it was only an hour away. Was contacted and made to drive to the location and bring the player back to receive medical attention. So, I mean, Group 1, that's all right. That's all right. Group 2 was subject to a less severe experience than Group 1, with them arriving a day after Group 1. They were not blindfolded on the drive there, though they were ordered to keep their heads down for the entire trip while heavy metal music played over loudspeakers. Now,
sounds like they had a fucking good time.
Sounds like a good bus ride.
That was my teenage years between depression and System of a Down, right? So that's pretty normal. So, all right, group.
Hope they played them analepsy.
There's a lot of heavy metal music that could fill an hour bus ride.
Now, I mean, the one place I think... Now, the one part I will give credit to. Now, there was a lot of misappropriation with culture, especially to the Indigenous. Now, look, that's not on. We don't do that.
Did you read any of this before you came in here, or are you just reading it off?
No, I'm trying to remember which parts I put in my head. I'm trying to look at the camera and look down so it looks like I'm a bit more natural.
This is why we don't script him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is
exactly why.
So this is probably one of the weirder parts, and I'll agree with. All right,
you've lost listeners, Chad.
While they were attempting, so hang on, what? The only way
we could just drop a link to the Wikipedia article and they can fucking read it themselves.
Sorry, when it takes you 4.5 hours to do it, you just cut this part out. Make me look like I know what I'm doing, please. But a lot of the confidential information the players had told to, I'm not sure if, I don't know if it was the club psychologist.
Can you finish a sentence before you start another one?
Yeah.
A lot of the confidential information.
Yeah, all right. So while they were attempting to reach for a knife, 9 of their teammates would hurl abuse at them. This abuse was deeply personal, with Barb's calling back to childhood trauma, relationship issues, and domestic abuse that had been gleaned from info leaked by the managers of the camp.
What's the knife got to do with it?
I'm not sure, but I mean, like, look.
How do they get their hands on information about childhood trauma and other such events that might be triggering to these people?
Well, I mean, the abuse was deeply personal, calling back to relationship issues. I mean, if you're still single and dating in your 30s, that's pretty much how people communicate now.
I can understand the knowledge of relationship issues of each other if they were at Brisbane.
I can kind of understand it because they're a friendship group or whatever
Yeah,
as well.
and you talk about
like deep personal issues that would cut you
yeah,
to
but
hear
like,
them.
also,
I don't
who
know.
says that to your fucking mates?
Oh, yeah. It's like going to war for your government, isn't it? You're not going to fucking do it. You're going to stand up and go, "Do you know what? I'm not fucking saying that."
Suck my hole.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, and then everyone's like, oh, but these people weren't psychologists who were running the camp. I'm like, yeah, but psychologists also had bloody, what's that operation? The mind bending shit in the 60s. What was it called? MK Ultra. That was
MK
psychologist
Ultra.
run. That wasn't kosher either. So it's maybe doesn't have to always have the degree to be that shit.
I'm not sure it's entirely in the 60s either.
Psychologists used to
Hillary.
just hit you with a hammer and
Clinton.
a fucking ice
words.
pick anyway.
Yeah.
Lobotomy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I mean, look, I mean,
I'm
obviously,
no psychologist, but I don't reckon that's a pretty good
No,
move.
no.
but I mean, it was more the club that broke the. I mean, like,
$1,000 volts to the
We
side of
always
the head
knew it
too.
was the club that fucking did it. Like,
But it's like, how would they release that information? Would be my thing. If because the psychologists can't release, like, you're not allowed to release that shit by law. So like, who did they tell? Who did they tell it to, and where did they get it from? Is my question.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
how much of it is true?
Hmm.
Obviously, enough of it's true because they came back fucking traumatized.
Yeah, but the traumatizing wouldn't necessarily be from the things that were said, more the actions. Holtz pick this knife up and swing it around while everyone yells words at you. Like,
Yeah, what does the knife have to do with
that's
anything?
like just
Weird.
that would piss me off.
Hmm.
That's not an exercise, and that's I don't. By the sounds of that, and look, we can't comment on their experience, but if that was me, I wouldn't come back because I'm traumatized and it fall apart. I would have been like, why the fuck am I playing for this footy club?
Yeah,
That's where it's at. Like it's
doesn't make sense.
like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I mean, like, how did they come up with those ideas? Like, what I'm trying to, what kind of scientific was it based on? It's
Who
weird.
was Don Pike was coach then?
Correct.
Correct.
I think Brett Burton was the assistant coach at the time. I think.
Yeah. So, is something like that come from the coach, or does it come from further up? Does it come from someone who's so desperate for success in their position on the board or CEO or whatever that they go?
I feel like it comes from a big dog meeting where they.
I think the board said that their mental strength was what lost them the 2017 grand final, and that was.
I reckon it's probably because it's the first time they'd been there in fucking 20 years. You know, like, hey, maybe we're fresh young team, windows just opened, we made it all the way here, going up against another fresh young team who played 17 matches on this ground, and we played 0 or 1. You know,
more
like,
likely that. Yeah.
kind of put it down to that. Like,
Well, they also said it reckons because Lever had an argument with the players because they knew he was leaving. I think that was the day it was the week before everyone kind of a rift started to form between the team, and that's where it started. I think, yeah. But look,
It sounds like a wild camp with not much sort of forethought, I guess you would call it, of what fallout could come from.
If I was planning that, I would sit back and go, I don't see any productivity.
Yeah, where's the value?
Like, there's no productivity.
No.
And we're how many years on now?
A lot of years.
And
It's
it's-
2018, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still a point of discussion that like that.
For some people.
Yeah, but
Hanging on.
we're all in it to win it, I guess. So it but I think that it is a product of discussion because it's just so fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Like
It is.
absurd.
I mean, if it was like the Bilderberg meetings, if you want to wear goat masks and sacrifice kids, like, look, if that's what it takes for success, I'll let
Probably
that
a bit
slide.
more productivity in that because it's a group bonding session over fucking something.
The owl gods. No, but it's not well. Like, but yeah, that was pretty much that's the only thing I could find on the internet.
So
about
I
what
have
it
a
was.
question for the two of you, right? We
Alright.
had a discussion about previously who's first coach gone,
Mm.
and there was two standout performances on coaches that could be gone.
Mm.
Yet we saw nothing at all from those clubs. Why is that?
What no action is in
Yeah,
getting rid of the coach.
yeah. Like surely Voss had lost his job on the weekend.
Mm.
I was sitting there going, he's gone. Like they're considering how ruthless that board has been, that football club has been in the past.
Is it because they're not losing by enough that it's not that they don't think it's that dramatic?
I think getting belted by. Did you see the stats of their second halves?
No.
Like what they've scored versus what's been scored against them in their second halves of their 4 games.
Mm.
It was like so bad it makes West Coast look like a good team in their second halves.
I mean, I'm surprised
That's
Voss
kinda
didn't go.
And
Yeah.
at that point, it almost looks like their game plan is to smash them in the first half and then ride it out defensively. For the
Hopefully,
second half.
hold on. Yeah.
Not hopefully. I'm sure that the plan is that we just create defensive structure and we retain our margin through the game. But if you're not
Try and drag out other teams down.
but
to
if
your
you're
level.
not good enough to do that, then
It's a hard game style though, because like you've got to be able to flex. Like if it speeds up, you've got to match. You've either got
You've got to be able to
match
go.
the speed, or you've got to slow it down.
now
You know what I mean?
they play West Coast in Adelaide, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
If they can't smash West Coast in the first half,
they do. Yeah,
they could. There's a very good chance of Carlton losing that game because, despite the fact that the Eagles are so bad, they have played 4 quarters
yeah,
in every game.
yeah. That's
You know?
true.
Something Carlton just cannot do. And if they lose that game, surely Voss is gone.
Sure.
Gotta be.
Yeah, that game.
Gotta
yeah,
be.
100%.
Gotta be gone.
I'm surprised he wasn't gone this
So
week.
I was
Yeah.
It's
adamant.
probably
I was-
because Collingwood didn't kick an almighty score against them that he's still hanging
But
on.
when
Yeah.
when I was watching that, watching him in that game on the bench in the fucking fourth quarter, his face spelled doom.
yeah,
Like he literally looked like I'm fucking fucked here.
Do we think there's another coach who can get more out of that current list at Carlton?
Yes. There's 2 coaches
John Longmire. Yeah,
who are premiership coaches currently
Adam
not
Sims.
doing anything.
yeah,
Could get something out of that guy, out of that list.
Yeah.
2. And that's just the top of my head immediately.
And how many years do you think it would take them to turn it back to like top 4 prelims?
I mean, they could do it this season.
yeah.
If they brought the right person in, they could be.
And there's still enough youth and enough talent on that list that probably 1 to 2 away. If
Well,
Yeah.
Carlton are getting a
Give
little bit
someone
top. I mean,
who's
some of
a
their
coach.
players are getting on now. Like,
yeah, but there's still.
and a lot of
Really
it's their spine, which is the sad part. Like Cripps, Doherty.
Yeah, I think Doherty's really looking close to past it. But Doherty's fucking. Man, that dude's had a hard run. If there's anyone
Yeah.
who's allowed to keep playing,
Yeah.
even though you're not quite there anymore.
Oh, he's a fucking weapon
It's
with all
that
this. Yeah,
fucking
no,
bloke.
I love him as a player, but you know, like sometimes the clock catches up. quick,
He's physically been smashed more than any other player, having to fucking deal with his cancer issues he had.
How's Goody survived? Percentage is 60.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're one
Spanked by
loss
40
away
points to
from
the
it as well.
Cats.
They're definitely. He's got to be gone this week.
Yeah.
Who are they playing? They're playing a mega losing game as well. I'm pretty sure.
They got the Bombers.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they lose against the Bombers, that.
Well, I
would
mean, good Essendon right now is really good.
Yeah.
Bad Essendon right now is really bad. There's they're lot.
Yeah.
But Melbourne have fallen apart. I mean, like even when they were talking about some of
Oh,
their
I told you they would.
You did.
their preseason stuff, where it's like, oh, we were just focused on love.
What?
It's like, what the fuck are you talking? That's weird. That's worse than the preseason camp. It's like,
Didn't they fight at restaurants with each other? Like,
Yeah.
as if
Chin each other and shit.
as if they could focus on love, but like they're gone, and it's one of those two. They got to be gone.
Gotta be.
Port will probably lose this week.
Who's they playing? Do you want to just do the tips? Because
Yeah, we can. Yeah, let's
it's
do
kind
that.
of doing your tip.
I'm just trying to. I'm talking about coaches getting sacked.
Port
Yeah.
probably will, yeah. Against Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, so they've definitely got another loss coming.
Yeah.
I don't think Port will pull the trigger that quick though with the succession plan in place.
So
Like,
the succession
gross.
plan has already failed.
because if they pull it too quick and then Josh Carr loses all the way to the end of the year, he won't take over. He can't take over if that happens.
But at the rate they're going, they're losing all the way to the end of the year anyway. Like,
Yeah.
so what happens if they lose the entire year whilst he's got someone holding his hand?
If you get to the 3/4 mark and then get rid of him, I'd understand it, but they'll try and protect Carr a bit. So if they pull him too early, they're going to expose him to, you know what, maybe another 10 losses maybe with their current form.
Yeah, but you got to get that anyway. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying,
If
but like,
Josh
yeah.
Carr can't get a win with a senior coach holding his hand,
Mm.
then the succession plan is moot because you basically got a safety net,
Mm.
and it's the opposite way around. Usually you coach together. Right now, Ken Hinckley's just a figurehead. Like he's got.
Is this Carr's game plan and his coaching style though? Do you think?
No, it looks exactly the same as Kenny's.
Same, yeah,
It's
we
just
said this.
It's just
yeah.
caught. It's just caught. It's almost like he's just copying the exact same thing. And And maybe, and I'm a firm believer in succession plans don't work. They don't work. You should only be taken on a job at a new club, new faces, one or two players who who you've coached previously, but otherwise it should be all new environment where you're given the capacity to do your thing the way you are.
Yeah, turn it into what you want
He
it to be.
will not have that at Port Adelaide.
No.
Even after Kenny's gone.
Yeah.
Especially with that flog Koshy around. Kenny's king. Fuck. Kenny's king Koshy. KKK.
No, but I think Voss will be the first to go though.
Yeah.
There's always pressure on that Carlton club, and
Yeah.
they've had that much. They've had so little success over such a long. Like they need someone to come in quick and just go. We need at least a couple of prelims and maybe a granny.
But my argument prior to that was like they're never going to get anywhere if they just keep sacking their coaches. But Voss has had a fucking
How long has he been there? 4 years?
Fair run with their best list, and to be like so to challenging it so much.
No, he's not been there that long. He's been there maybe 3. This would be his 3rd year.
No, I think it's 4.
Yeah, would be.
Yeah.
I'll Google.
Who did they have before? David Teague.
Yeah.
And Brendan Bolton.
Yeah.
And who was before that?
Ratton?
Ratton, yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
So yeah, they've not.
This is.
Yeah, they've not picked well.
His 4th year.
Yeah, right. Fucking hell. Usually my memory's not that good.
It is his 4th year, and he did 5 years as Brisbane's head coach. And he was at Port between those 2 stints.
Yeah, he's the assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a great midfield coach, but
He's
I
a
don't
brilliant
think. Yeah.
midfield coach. Michael Voss is a good coach, but he's not a good head coach. Not when you've had the list that they've got.
No. What repercussions does that have on the list if he does get the chop?
It probably positive.
Do you reckon?
Well, you give the players who are maybe considering league going, all right, we'll try another year and see.
Yeah, we'll get a new guy in. He's got a different take. Imagine if they pulled Horse in. Johnny Longmire comes in. What would you do if you were a player at that club and you get John Longmire in?
Yeah, all of a sudden you'd got a legend of a.
You'd get a new lease on playing there. Yeah. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to give this a fucking crack. This will be good.
Same with Simo. There are 2 coaches who have been to the Premier. They've won premierships as well. He knows how to get us there.
Yeah, at the very least, knows.
And almost you get that default invest buy-in because it's like we'll trust them to a certain until we don't. Yeah.
Well, I've
seen him hold up the cup.
Yeah, if your option was Michael Voss or someone who's won a premiership as a coach, been to multiple grand finals.
No brainer, yeah.
It's hard too because Voss is one of the greatest players ever, but it doesn't mean you
man, he's one of my all-time favourites. But that doesn't, and it's I'm not
can't teach. The other way around.
I'm not saying that anything negative about him because he seems like one of the straightest shooters in footy and always has been. People love him for a reason. He was awesome to watch as a child.
Yeah,
like everything about Vossi is good, but it's maybe not your skill.
Yeah,
or maybe that club isn't right for you. You know, like you've seen coaches fail elsewhere and do well somewhere else.
It's hard though because Brisbane was a basket case when he took him.
100%.
Carlton have been a basket case.
And I
don't
think you don't hold Brisbane against him. He took that on when they were fucking at their worst, right?
Yeah.
And he did 5 years there. That's all good. But
what years were they?
9 to 13.
Yeah, okay.
But he, as at Port during their fucking rise, right? He was paramount to when they were challenging, you know? Like it just it's not for him. I think he will be the first to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see what happens. We will see what happens.
I'll give you the tip.
Who's going first?
I'll go first since my mouth is currently moving.
Cool. Don't forget margin.
Yeah. I've already put mine in. Thank you very much. And I'm not a liar like Chad. I've gone Adelaide Crows by 33 against Geelong. All right. I probably would have gone Geelong usually, but it's gather round, so there's going to be a bit of hype behind South Australian clubs.
Lost by a point,
and the Crows just got robbed by a point.
Robbed.
All right. They got robbed. The AFL said it was a free kick. It should have been paid.
4 times in the last 37 games.
Yeah.
I think it was Lloydie that was talking
all by
about
2
it.
and 1
Well, did the umpire?
point.
Who did he have the Brownlow on? Was it a betting thing? Maybe.
Yeah, I
Who
don't know.
knows?
But yeah, that was a legitimate robbery. The AFL even admitted it, so they should be giving them 2 points when in things like that. When they come out and said that was a free kick, right? In that scenario, only had to kick a point to get a draw,
To draw, yeah.
or
give
kick
them the draw.
2 to win, you just add 2 points to them.
Even
Especially
though
with
as a
Rankin,
ranking
Rankin was going to hit the
Oh,
board. Yeah.
fucking right
course
he
he
was.
was, yeah.
I was going straight through the middle.
Yeah, but like you give them, all right, we'll get you 2 points. I reckon that's something they should, because this has happened quite a few times in the last 4 or 5 years where they're coming out and
4
admitting-
times in the last
just to
37
Adelaide,
games
yeah.
for Adelaide.
Adelaide alone, but I mean it's happening so much over the last 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
where the AFL's coming out and saying, yes, that was wrong, that should have been a free, or that was called wrong, it was a goal, or
Yeah.
just award them 2 points so everyone fucking carries on. It doesn't impact the team that did win on the day. That team gets consolation for being fucked.
We'll put that to the conspiracy podcast, because
Yeah,
I think there's something bigger
should-
going
She
on.
should go out to Laura Kane.
At
Clip-
Laura Kane.
Clip
tag.
this. I'm going clip this.
Okay.
This is what we're doing. Collingwood over Swans, Suns over North, Carlton over West Coast, Brisbane over the Dogs, Essendon over Melbourne, Fremantle over Richmond, Giants over Saints, and Hawks over Port Adelaide.
Bro, we're tipping exactly the same. I got
And that
Crows
is a
by...
perfect round. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I agree. I've got Crows by 15. I've got Collingwood, Gold Coast, Carlton, Brisbane, Bombers, Freo, Giants, Hawks. That is a perfect round because Port are not going to beat the Hawks and fuck it up for me. What you got, Chad? And do not fucking lie.
All right, so I've got it in now. So I'm going to go the Crows by 12 points.
You lock that in.
You guys reckon a team that's averaging like 130 points a game this season is going to win by 2-3?
Geelong's been a bogey side for us for a while, though. Like,
yeah, but it's gather round. That's what I said. That's why I didn't go Geelong, because it's gather round. They'll be like beast crom mode, especially after getting fucking robbed.
So does that mean all the teams are in Adelaide then?
Yes,
Yeah.
every game's played in Adelaide.
Does Mitchell get an ankle bracelet to make sure we know where he is at all
Yeah,
times?
yeah. Track that motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh, guys, in the cafe.
That's
Well,
funny
who's-
shit.
Whose hotel room's he coming?
Yeah, Oscar Allen's going to be busy that weekend. All right, let's
Out
get
with a jaw injury.
Yeah. Well, I think Fakes may have to hide yet. Bush is coming. All right, let's stay on topic. So yeah, Crows by 12 points. I will go. All right, I'll go Collingwood. I'll stick with Gold Coast.
Why'd you say oi? Gold Coast a lot.
Oh no, I mean it's not unwinnable for North,
Numero uno right now.
and it is at the Barossa Park, wherever the fuck that is. Probably
in the Barossa Valley.
You would imagine, yeah.
yeah.
I'm no expert on South Australia for good reason. So
Yeah.
There's no sticks for goals. They're just vines.
Are you high?
Little.
no,
Sorry.
okay, that was perfectly acceptable.
No,
That's
that-
wine region.
No, there's no drug testing. Yeah, go nuts.
Barossa. That's
All right,
Why?
let me finish. All right, Carlton. I will go. Ooh,
Thanks for accepting that.
Ooh,
I
keep
appreciate that.
Ooh.
I'll go Brisbane.
Did you say Carlton?
I did.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
tipped
okay,
Carlton. Yeah.
okay.
What did you guys tip? West Coast.
Carlton.
No, Carlton.
Who the fuck would tip West Coast right now?
Anything
This idiot
possible.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I reckon the Bombers. No, the Freo for this one. I'll tip them this time. Now, you see, I want St Kilda to win because I know it'll upset Fed.
What is wrong with this
He
guy?
was upset, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to go the Saints.
Oh my god.
And if they win, I will talk about them for my segment next week. So I'm sending even further.
His love for Ross the Boss cannot
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
denied.
Because he's a massive
Mr.
Freo
Closet
fan.
Freo fan.
No, mate, Ross, he does good things. And I'll go. No, I have to go Hawks.
It's literally the easiest game to tip of the entire round.
No, well, you never know. It's you never know. Until you know, you know.
So
Yeah.
you went Adelaide by 12,
Yes.
Collingwood, Gold Coast, Carlton, Brisbane, Bombers, Freo, Giants. No, you went Saints, then Hawks.
Yep.
Okay, cool. You ain't pulling the wool over anyone's eyes this week. Show me the button that says your tips are saved.
You know how we mentioned briefly before we wrap this up, how like the difference
you even
between
know how to do
the
this.
difference between the top and the bottom is like so vast.
Yeah.
It's becoming it's so relevant just in the tipping spread of who's tipping what.
Good. Thank you.
No.
I
Seventy-
pressed the button.
73%, 27%. 70%, 30%. 91%, 9%. 93%, 7%. 91%, 9%. 67%, 33%. That's the closest one.
Which game's that?
Melbourne, Essendon.
That's
92%, 8%. 87%, 13%. 85%, 15%.
Okay.
And that some of those
fucking
are
huge.
bottom sides against bottom sides. And
Yeah.
like the gap between those two spots is astronomical. And then again and again and again.
Yeah.
When the closest tipping spread is 67 to 33%,
You know that there's something wrong.
there's seriously something fucking going on there.
Yeah. That's wild. That is wild.
You know what else is wild? Chad's ability to bring good content to his podcast.
At least I brought stuff. What the fuck did you guys
It's
bring?
alright, you-
Actually,
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
I bet you won't post it on Instagram.
Yeah, but even if
though.
we brought it, you wouldn't share it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
lesson learned, eh?
Yeah. I'm going to make the tips graphics again this week, and I'm going to send them to you.
I look forward to putting them up.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, look, I've got nothing much to add, to be honest. I'm feeling kind of like
You're really
disconnected and sleepy
you're
this week.
really upset because your team lost the way they did.
Oh, mate, I'm
It wasn't-
resigned
it
to
wasn't
the fact
surprising
that that's
though,
just the
Sucks
year
the
we're going to have.
life out of being passionate.
Yeah, I've just resided to the fact that that is the year that we're going to have, and there's not a lot we can do about it. I'm kind of almost accepting that we're going to win the wooden spoon on 0 wins.
Yeah.
I can't see us
It's
beating
not outside of
anyone
reality,
at this
yeah.
point.
No way is it outside of reality.
No.
And that's good because they put their hand out 4 first round.
There you go. I seriously, realistically, I cannot see a team in this competition that this West Coast team right now are going to beat. 3 debutants though, so good work there.
Yep.
They played all
Keep
right.
them going. Been all
Yeah.
the seniors, just
Yeah.
play kids.
Yeah, well, they're looking for a new
Yeah,
captain
seems to be-
next year, so
Seems
best
to be
foot forward.
working.
Yep.
Seems to be working for Richmond. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really can't see it. I cannot see it. So it's going to be a zeros donuts kind of year.
Yeah.
And I'm accepting it.
you're losing.
I
that.
even went out wearing my hat too.
I haven't worn
Just like,
mine.
fuck it,
I'm
I
not
don't
wearing.
care.
I'm wearing mine when I get a win, mate.
Nah,
New hat when I get a win.
whatever. Oh, whatever. I'm happy to fly the flag.
Look,
I'll wear
mate,
me
it
polo.
happens to all the every now. We all get to the bottom once. You know, sometimes
Once. Can't get off the fucking thing.
Yeah.
if you be a power bottom, yeah, you lose the fucking price, don't you?
There it is. Nah, I got nothing else.
Rest in peace. Goodbye. Let's throw them up.